The first development project for Symphony Medical is focused on patients who develop post-operative atrial fibrillation. So this is after a person goes in for coronary artery bypass or valve repair replacement surgery. Approximately 40% of all the patients who go in for this type of surgery will develop atrial fibrillation post-operatively. We've developed a prophylactic approach to treat this. So at the time of the open chest surgery, we'll go in, we make a therapeutic injection into the gangulated plexi, which are these kind of fatty structures on the surface of the heart, known as the heart's nervous system. So we go in, we make a injection into these gangulated plexi, and it has the effect of actually blocking the signals that would create atrial fibrillation. And the polymer is fast-acting. It also degrades over time, so at the end of about 30 days or so, the polymer will dissipate and the target gangulated plexi will return back to normal. But the key is that we want to keep that patient from having those aberrant signals occur in the risk period, which is the time from when the surgery is complete till the time they get out of the hospital, which is anywhere between 5 or 7 days later. Today, there are no specific treatments for post-operative atrial fibrillation. There is no drugs that are approved for this indication. There are no devices. This is a significantly large problem in that there's approximately 500,000 patients who go in for open chest surgery every year just in the United States alone. And what currently is being done is that they will give patients drugs. These are the standard drugs for chronic atrial fibrillation, not, again, indicated for this particular problem. And they'll try that first to see if they can convert the patient to a normal rhythm. About a third of the patients will be able to convert out of this condition. If they can't convert them with drugs, then they'll take out a defibrillator and they'll try to shock the patient to cardiovert them back. About a third of those patients will convert successfully during their stay. And then about a third of the patients go home in atrial fibrillation and unfortunately are sentenced to kind of a lifetime of being in this condition and therapy. The dangers of atrial fibrillation postoperatively include an increased incidence of stroke and also the issue that the patient can become hemodynamically unstable. And this is particularly troublesome for the caregivers, especially after you've gone through a major surgery like a coronary artery bypass where you've had your chest cracked open and so forth.
The percentage of patients who get AF in the days immediately following their surgeries is distressingly high. 25 to 40% of bypass patients, over 80% of heart valve patients, 12 to 17% of patients who have thoracic surgeries. The extra length of stay necessitated by postoperative AF has stubbornly resisted improvement, despite a variety of surgical and pharmaceutical efforts to reduce it.
We're right now the only company that actually has a therapy or device, if you may, directed towards this particular problem. We have a clinical study which is starting now at the end of January. And this is the first stage of a pivotal study. We're doing a safety cohort of 50 patients. We're doing them in 3 different centers in Germany, and then we'll move to the United States and we'll do another 300 patients. The goal here, of course, is to show efficacy of the procedure. And you know, at that point, if we can show that, in fact, that the procedure is as efficacious in humans as we've seen in our animal studies, then we've got a potential home run product. The second program that the company is working on is a treatment for congestive or chronic heart failure. To date, there's been no effective long-term therapy for treatment of heart failure. First line of defense is pharmacological agents. Second line of defense is devices like CRM devices and LVADs, ventricular assist devices, which are referred to as destination therapy because once you get one, there's no coming back. And then some patients, of course, will get an artificial heart. We have come up with a biocompatible polymer that is injected strategically into the left ventricle. The idea here is to increase the or to reshape and to restructure the left ventricle in order to reduce the chamber size internally and to increase the efficiency of the heart pump. It's well known that heart failure is a significant problem in the United States and the world. There's approximately 5 million patients that currently have heart failure. The number is expected to double. If this can be proven in human clinical studies to be efficacious, the market is beyond really one's imagination as far as the potential. We're thinking something which would be along the lines of about $10,000 for a procedure, which would still be somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 less than anything else that is out there with respect to devices and so forth. For Symphony Medical in 2008, it's fundamentally focused on clinical studies. We have, for our post-operative atrial fibrillation program, we have our clinical study, which is starting in late January in Europe. We're going to do about 50 patients there, and then we're going to move to a pivotal phase in the United States, and we're looking to do about another 300 patients there. With respect to our heart failure program, we anticipate a first-in-man clinical study later in the 2008 timeframe. We have a number of very experienced individuals. There's only about a dozen of us in the company, all of which have many, many years of experience in the cardiovascular field and in bringing new products to the marketplace. Unlike a lot of other companies, all of our work that is done with respect to preclinical studies is done outside the company. So therefore the focus is really in investing money in things that really add value to the organization as opposed to expending and having a lot of people internally. So that's been an interesting approach for us. It's been a capital efficient approach, and we feel pretty good about where we are and the direction of the company at this time.